It's now time to breathe easier. With Ted Jenkin from Oxygen Financial.
Will a threesome improve your retirement? I'm guessing you're not talking about, hey, honey, let's go find a third party for the bedroom so we can sit on a lot of money when it's all said and done. Huh?
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
if you have more threesomes in retirement, you're going to do better. That's it. That's the whole segment right there.
Okay, well, you have a good day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This has been very stimulating. I love Oxygen Financial.
What's the play on the threesome?
Well, here's what the play is that I've taken a look at a lot of our clients that have been very successful and ultimately had a successful retirement, and I put together sort of a threesome, 3 things that if you do just these 3 things and you do it well, you too will have a very successful retirement down the road. And
I don't know about Bailey, but that works for me because I hate complicated things. I can remember 3 things. I can't remember 5 or 10.
What's the first?
The first one in here, which is very interesting, I went to a conference about 4 months ago, and this is a bunch of financial bloggers, actually, and there were a bunch of kids there. When I say kids, there were a bunch of kids that were retired under the age of 35. I want you to think about that. Retired under the age of 35, and you're probably thinking, well, they probably had a trust fund or they came into some, big windfall of money, but all of them had a paid-off house. And one of the biggest things that makes a successful retirement is to have a paid-off house, to not have a mortgage in retirement, because your backpack is really light. If you have no mortgage, just think about this. Outside of your real estate taxes and homeowners insurance, if you stay in the house, you don't really have that many expenses.
Yeah, but how did they get there?
That is the key, right? The key is that they didn't buy too big a house. The average person that I saw, their house was actually under $300,000.
That's the key, isn't it? A $300,000 house, a 15-year loan, knock it out, work hard when you're making your money, live tight, but get it paid off.
Yeah, well, remember, we're in the investment business, and even though mortgage rates are still pretty low, although, Steve, they are going up.
See, that scares me. Can you address that real quick? Because, where are we now? How high do you think we're going to get by the end of the year?
I think the Fed wants to get it back ultimately to about 5%.
I would say higher than that. I'd say 5.5.
Oh,
it's going to go up.
Yeah.
Yep. They're going to raise it at least once more this year, but probably twice. If you're thinking about buying a house, this is the time to get at it. But you don't want to buy too big a house. And if you do, even though there are people in the investment business that will say they can beat the stock market or they can make a lot of money, the one guarantee you always have is to pay off the mortgage, right? Even if your mortgage rate is 4%, it's a guaranteed 4%, and nobody can guarantee that in your money. And I'm a big fan of it because, as you guys know, job-wise, you may be in and out of jobs. Everyone thinks they're going to make money forever. Getting your backpack light and paying off that mortgage is one part of a threesome that will make retirement successful.
What I was telling Steve, I was like, because he's house shopping, right? He just sold his house downtown. He's got to find a new house, getting kicked out like in a couple of days.
I've been talking to your neighbor. I'm thinking about throwing late night parties.
Yeah. I told him, I said, if you buy a house like, with Rach selling these properties, East Cobb, if you're in that Walton School District or the Roswell School District where we're at, you buy for the equity. And that's what I tell everybody. You're talking about paying off the house, which it's great in theory, but if you can't achieve that, buy for the equity, pay your interest. Tell me if I'm off here, Ted, but you're buying for if you have to, maybe you lose your job. You have to take a line out in order to survive for your next gig, or you sell it, there's going to be equity. You look up what the surplus in your area has been. In Roswell, it's been, it was 9% last year. The next year, it's supposed to be on average 4.5%. That's pretty good.
Well, you could never go wrong in the areas
where
there's
a savings account.
There's good school districts. That's one of the big things that a lot of places that insulate themselves. If you've got high quality school districts, because people don't want to pay for private school. That's a great thing when it comes to real estate.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. What did we just get here? Oh, excellent. All right. I don't know. This is a paper being put in front of us. I don't know what it is.
You guys still keeping your jobs? Or not?
I don't know. You know something that we don't know? What's the second thing? This is Ted Jenkin, threesome to improve your retirement. You said the first thing.
Well, this is one of the big ones because people actually aren't really retiring anymore. People are just sort of making work optional. So you've got to find work that you absolutely love to do. A lot of the people that I've seen be successful in retirement, they have some sort of job. I had someone drive me to the airport. This is about a couple of months ago. This guy was 77 years old and he was still driving. And part of you could think that he was doing it because he needed the money, but he just loves driving cars. And so when you find what you love to do it, then you can still live a really fulfilled life even after retirement. Because a lot of people that retire and just go into that phase where they do nothing, they actually not only die earlier, but they spend their money quicker.
Really?
See, now that's messed up.
Absolutely. A lot of people think I'm going to retire, quit work, and then do nothing. Well, you have 2,000 hours a week.
I'm getting a job at Home Depot.
2,000 hours a year where you're doing nothing, right? If you love it.
I actually don't advise that for you.
No, dude, that's like...
No, you make noises of tools that's not going to play at the Home Depot.
No, probably at that age, I'll be in the lawn department selling mulch.
All right. Mulch, I got you.
Have you ever noticed that there's like those stereotypical jobs for those that have already retired? Like, and you feel so bad because you have all the respect in the world because you know they've been there and done that. They're probably a vet. You know, they've busted their ass in a job that probably doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And now they're, in order to just bring in a little bit of extra cash, they're bagging groceries at Kroger. And they're getting treated like crap by a cashier that's maybe 21 years old that just got bumped up to assistant manager.
Yeah, and they're all bossy and everything.
But that's like the go-to older person job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot of people now that they're in their cars or, they may be at work and they're thinking, as soon as I could quit this job, which I hate, but it pays the bills, I would love to do this job.
Yeah.
Right? And that happens to a lot of people. So you have to find that thing that you love to do because if you retire at 60 or 65 and you still live for another 15, 20, 25 years, you got to have something to do to fill your time.
I've always wanted to rent jet skis. Just buy a
in
few.
the Bahamas?
Or just anywhere.
Oh,
Bahamas
the Bahamas.
And be that dude on the thing. Don't go past the buoys. Hey, bro, bring it in, bro. Don't go past the buoys, bro.
Dude, you do that. I say that every year we go down there. It's like the jet ski business is booming. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And you try to sneak it past the actual business, the guys that get you before you get to that gate.
Yeah.
And you can negotiate with them. I was having a conversation. I played tennis with a guy last night, an Indian gentleman, and he was talking about his kids. One's in college, one's in high school. And we were having almost the same exact conversation of how the generations are different from Gen Xers to whether it's millennials or the newest generation of the founders. And the big difference during this conversation was that the younger generation are fearless. They are entrepreneurs. You're talking about at 35 and they've paid off their house is because they're all in. They live each day for each day. Gen Xers were living each day for the next. We're saving because that's what our parents told us to do. Younger kids, man, they're fearless. They will invent something and they'll spend all their time and go all in Shark Tank style.
You agree with that?
No, it's not only that, but a lot of them today don't have this idea that I go to work and I'm going to work till I'm 60. They might work for 5 or 7 years and say, I'm going to take 6 months off. I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to go to South America. I had a client recently that said, I'm quitting a job. He was making $250,000 and he went to climb Mount Everest. He just literally quit work for 6 months. He trained and then he went and he climbed.
Did he survive?
He did survive. Yeah, he climbed it.
Because there's a lot of people freezing their ass off permanently.
He went and climbed Mount Everest and just screwed everything up financially before he left.
Yeah. Well, what's your third?
Well, the third thing on here that is a lot of people do invest in 401ks and IRAs and things like that, but there are vehicles today that will guarantee you a pension. And companies don't offer pensions anymore. And people always think about how much money do I need when I retire? The bigger question is, well, what's your paycheck going to be? And so you got to have some money in some bucket somewhere that guaranteed will make you a paycheck unless you're depending on Social Security to be there.
There was a financial website that I was on not that long ago, and it had this little calculator of like where I'm at now and how much money. It has to simplify, kind of like what Steve said. I'm stupid when it comes to stuff. Yeah. So it told me how much money, if I were to retire at like 67 with the money that's in that account, how much money I would have now.
Yes.
And then
I know what you're talking about.
And then it says how much I need. Yeah. And it has a car, and then my goal. We got a road trip.
We got a road trip? All right, then we got a road trip.
It is like a big road trip. All right. Ted Jenkin, Oxygen Financial.
That's good, Ted. I like a threesome.
How can people find you if they need to get some more
I don't know if we're going to be able to set you up with a threesome, but if you wanted to get...
No,
we might.
This kind of threesome.
Yeah, this kind of threesome. Go to oxygenfinancial.net. Download our guide right now on 4 tips to a successful retirement. Right now, go to oxygenfinancial.net. I'll give you some more free tips on the website.
There you go. Headline.